Diane. Today is day 6 in our 30 days to reinvent your career. And I'm really excited to talk about formatting your resume for Flair and impact. Today is the last day that we're going to be talking about resumes. Tomorrow we're going to go on to cover letters. Okay, so this is kind of wrapping up what we've learned about resumes, and that's the importance of formatting. So many people do this wrong. They're so occupied, so worried about cramming everything into one page or 2 pages that use a little tiny font and they little tiny margins, and they cram everything together, and that makes it impossible to read. So it's more important that you have white space and that you have well laid out headings and sections so that the viewer, the reader, can go section by section, can find the headlines that he wants and go section by section and skip over. Remember that 7.7 second recruiter is going to scan it. He needs to be able to see those headlines. So you want to make sure that he sees education, employment, summary of credentials, career objectives, awards and recognition, patents and publications, whatever it is that you have, you want to make sure that the reader is going to be able to see all of that very easily. So you want white space. Think of your resume as a print ad and don't think of it as a job biography. You are telling a story and you want to walk the viewer step by step, or the reader step by step through this story so that he gets the message that you want to tell him. So it's really important because formatting can do the difference. Make sure you have white space, good margins, and make sure you use no more than 2 fonts. You want 2 fonts. I personally prefer sans serif fonts. They're things like Arial and Calibri or Helvetica, as opposed to Times New Roman or others that have the little things at the bottom of the letters. That's from the old times when they used to actually set type, and those are little hooks to hook it in place. That's an old-fashioned font. It might be appropriate for something in the creative field, but probably not today in a technology field or something more contemporary. Simplify. Make sure that you make everything very concise. You generally don't want full sentences. You have bulleted statements, and I like to think of a resume as being like Michelangelo was carving a statue and somebody says, you've got this block of marble. How do you make it look right? He says, I just find what's inside the piece of marble, and then I cut away all the stuff that I don't need so it reveals what's inside. And that's what you can do for the resume. So get rid of every extraneous word, sections. You don't want full sections because you want to have about 1,100 words is kind of the sweet spot in your resume. I've actually had 2 recent clients that had 13-page resumes with 6,000 and 8,000 words, which is overwhelming information. So you want 1,000 to 1,200. The sweet spot is 1,100 words. You can do a word count, okay, so that the right amount of information is there, but don't overwhelm people. And simplify, and the formatting is really important. If you go in the course when we're done, I'm actually going to give you 8 formatting templates that you can use. Some are artistic, some are business, some have ribbons, some have blue ribbons, some have black, different formatting templates, and has all the sections built out so that you can choose the template that you want. But I suggest you follow what I have been doing and showing you, which is you have a standard format, and I like to please avoid the sidebar resumes. There's a kind of a trend now that people have like this little sidebar on the left in color or something, and then the content on the right. Well, that's really difficult to read because your eye keeps going back and forth and it's not organized well. And I'll tell you, the ATS systems have a terrible time reading it. They get things all jumbled up, and a lot of those sidebars don't have the headings that you want, and so it's not a good, in my opinion, I would never use a sidebar resume, and I recommend against it. And so you want to have something that we talked about before, starts with your title, and in this case, this man has a PMP and a Prince too, which I didn't know what it was. It's a European, like a PMP certification. You have your career objective, which is one long sentence that tells what you can do. You have your summary of credentials, and it's really, really important. Bulleted, very easy, just words that are all the important thing. And generally, you You want to be able to have somebody in 7.7 seconds see just this much information and know enough about you to decide, yes, I want to talk to that person. Certain fields, I add another summary in case, then this was technology platforms, and then you go on to the work experience. And I want you to use a combination of bold and underlined. I do not like to use italics. Italics are soft, and you want a bold resume. So you would want a resume that has the key points should be like in a bold cap, underlined. Okay, so they really stand out. Then secondary information might be just caps or bold, and then body type. And you want your fonts to be, for your headlines, like your section headers, between 12 and 14 point bold. And then you want your body copy to be between 10 and 11 unbolded. Okay, so that there's a contrast in sizes, because you want people to get the key pieces of information, be able to jump on. Here's another resume for somebody. And when I write resumes, if you have an official title, so you want to put that like PMP, or this is a Master of Engineering, Industrial Engineering, Master of Science, Industrial. You have, again, your headline, kind of a summary, what you want, Industrial Engineering, Defense Aerospace Engineering. You want your career objective. You want your summary of hard skills, quantifiable data. In this case, we talk about software systems and applications, so it's another summary before we get to employment. And then each job is very clearly laid out with bold caps and headlines, so it's real easy to see what you're looking at. And so I really encourage you to use this formatting and think of the fact that this is an ad. If you're at an ad agency and you were creating an ad, what's going to make this readable to your audience? You want to make sure that they can read it very well, so it's important that you do that. And so simplify it. Go inside the course, which is at www.reinventyourcareerin30days.com. That's inside the membership area of the challenge, and there you'll find a video from my Above the Fold resume course talking about formatting, gives you lots of screenshots and examples and walks you through. It's about a 10 or 12 minute video, and 8 formatting templates. So you can download any of these. There's kind of a screen that shows what they are. Then you pick which one you want, and you can download. You can download them all, I don't care. But it's very important that you pick a template, and then you just change your information in that, and you keep the template, and make sure you have it visually interesting, easy, clean, and precise. So go in the course, www.reinventyourcareerin30days.com. It's the challenge, and there's all this valuable information. And that's it for resumes. Now, I have information about my Above the Fold resume class there. If you're interested, it's an online course. You'd be glad to have you come and get more detail. It's got a lot more information, but we've summarized a lot of the key points. And tomorrow, we go on to cover letters. Everybody has a terrible time with cover letters, but I'm going to teach you how to make a wonderful cover letter. It's a template that will walk you through it, and I'll actually give you an ebook that talks to you about, explains to you exactly how you do this. So this is Diane Huth, the Accidental Career Coach, and I'm wishing you tons and tons of career success. I'll see you inside the class tomorrow to talk about our cover letter. Take care. Bye-bye.